How do I maximize meetings with my CEO? We get limited face time and I want to make it count.
Prepare everything in advance and send any material or talking points in advance. And by in advance, 24 hours typically will do. 48 hours is maximum. Don't send it 72 hours out because it'll be too far. For CEOs, like they don't have a lot of time, they don't have a lot of face time, and they're really just looking for the headlines in advance so they can get into the conversation. And if they have to dig for information, they're going to get frustrated and just go into scan mode and direction mode. If you want to make the most of it, if you have points that you want to bring forward or that you want to talk about, send them the top level points in advance and then any kind of like the sub points. If you go past 5 points, they're not going to look. So it's like maximum 5 points with a couple sub points. I would encourage you, should it like maximum really should be 3. But you should also anticipate what questions they're going to ask you in advance and apply the answer pyramid to them. So for anyone here who doesn't know what that is, just go to our YouTube page or any of that stuff, and we've got lots of things about the answer pyramid on there. Have your topics in advance, email it to them, and then prep your questions in advance. Write down your answers and just write down the answer, the bridge, and the explanation. You don't need to bring those to the meeting, just know them in advance. I'd also encourage you, if you really want to make the most of it, tape yourself on video being asked those questions a number of times, just so you're sure that your answer is nice and tucked in and clear. What I encourage you to do when you're meeting with the CEO, though, is in the first couple minutes or the first minute, say, like, did you get a chance to read over what I sent? I will guarantee you most CEOs won't have had time or will have forgotten about it or just didn't do it. And then you can offer and say, would you like to take a second to read through it? Giving a CEO time at the beginning of a meeting to review something you've sent them, especially if it's something that's more than just like a 3 or 4 bullet points that has any level of complexity, is a good discipline to get into. Even if it feels like it's eating up time in your meeting, it allows them to like really digest what you've sent and then ask the right questions. Otherwise, if you're trying to talk them through it, it's going to confuse them. Let them read it and just literally sit there in silence, then engage in the conversation. You really got to treat speaking with a CEO like high level content. Content is the most important thing. So is your content good? And remember, your content is like everything you know. It's like all your ideas, all your experience, all your education, all your gut feelings, all of that kind of stuff. That's the first part of content. But the second part is your ability to express it clearly and concisely. If you show up with a CEO, send stuff in advance, give them time to digest it in the meeting if they need it, and you've already prepped your questions, your answers to questions, you're going to have really strong content, and that's going to matter to a CEO. If a CEO identifies you as someone who has strong content, it means you're going to have a strong relationship and you will become a go-to person who gets more time.